The question for today's Free Coaching Friday is very good. Turn in your questions every Thursday when it comes to interpersonal relationships and communication skills, and we'll answer that every Friday for Free Coaching Friday. So the question for today is, how do you not forego responsibility? And then how can you take responsibility so you can create your future? So I'm going to begin with this equation. I want you to remember this equation always, forever. It's responsibility equals authority. Accountability equals autonomy. Can you see that? All right, so responsibility equals authority. Accountability equals autonomy. So I want you to always remember that. You'll remember that forever. Responsibility equals authority. What does that mean? Now, we're just going to begin with this context axiom, fundamental foundation for your thinking, and then you can build out the rest of your life from that. So responsibility equals authority. Authority equals responsibility. What that means is that the only thing you can have, you should take responsibility over, is your authority. You can't take responsibility, unless you'd like to, depending. You can't take responsibility over something which you do not have authority. I'll explain that to you in 1 second. Also, anything you have authority over, you have to take responsibility over. Anything you have authority over, you must take responsibility. A lot of people do the exact opposite, which is called escapism. When you when you don't take responsibility over which you have authority, it's called escapism, then you run into a lot of trouble. So let me explain to you then responsibility equals authority. A lot of people, the tremendous cause of pain and mistake and suffering that most people feel is this aspect in life where they try to take responsibility over someone else's authority. Whenever you try to take responsibility over someone's feelings, someone else's emotion, someone else's authority, you create suffering for yourself. You create pain for yourself. When you try to make somebody happy, when you try to make somebody angry, when you try to make somebody laugh or joyful, whenever you try to take it upon yourself, take responsibility for yourself to make other people feel a certain way, to make other people love you, you will create pain and suffering for yourself. Now you've never heard this before, more than likely. So authority means anything you have authority over, and your emotions, your own emotions, are things only you have authority over. Your worries, your fears, your love, your hate, those are things only you have authority over. Can you make me angry? Can you make me happy? Can you make me feel any way? Absolutely not. Only I can make me happy. I can't make my sweetie happy. I do my best. I encourage her. I influence her. I do things that would encourage and insist on her happiness. But ultimately, I can't take responsibility over it because I don't have any authority over her emotions. Only she has the ability to do that. It was Eleanor Roosevelt that said that no one can make you feel any way other than you're allowing it to. No one can make you feel pain or suffering other than you're allowing it to. Authority equals responsibility. Anything you have authority over, which means your planning, your emotions, how you feel throughout the day. Do you feel demotivated or do you feel motivated? Do you feel energized or do you not feel energized? Guess whose responsibility those things are? Only you have authority over them, therefore you must take responsibility over them. Sure, in life we are surrounded by people or things or environments or media in which they influence us tremendously. But guess what? Who has control over it? Guess who has control over just shutting it down? Guess who has control over whether or not you'd interact with those people? Guess who's in control? Who has options on whether or not they choose to be in that situation or in that job or in that relationship with that person. You have choice to not be in that situation. You have choice to choose different paths for your life. And so when you take authority, we take responsibility over your authority, meaning you begin to take control over those things which you have responsibility, authority over, which means you find a job you like because you have a bad environment at your work, or you make different options because you have complete control over your options. Some of the options are subconscious, meaning they're automatic, autopilot. You don't have to think about them. But once you start thinking about them, then you can start having options. You can start choosing different options. For example, I give you more and more options with critical thinking when it comes to these videos, when it comes to the online course, Great Relationships University. You now have more options because now you're learning more knowledge. Now you're becoming more aware of the decisions you're automatically making, which you shouldn't be making those decisions in the first place, in those relationships. So let's just go forward because I only have 10 minutes. Accountability equals autonomy. When you take accountability over your life, when you take account, the word is account. When you account for things in your life, what does account mean? When you account for the numbers. How do you get to a six-figure income? How much do you have to make in 1 month to make a six-figure income? How much money do you have to make in 1 week? How much money do you have to make in 1 day to make a six-figure income? Do you know those numbers? Divide them. Experiment with yourself. What is your income goal? And then for the year. And then divide that into 12, which is the months of the year. Divide that number by 4, which is the weeks in the month. And divide that number by 7, which is the days in the weeks. And then you'll find out how much you need to make a day to make that income that you wanted. Take accountability. When you take accountability for yourself, what are the actions? What are the things I'm doing today? How much calories am I eating today? What actions am I taking today towards my goal? Who do I need to talk to meet my goal, to achieve my goal? Who can help me achieve my goal? How much money do I need to make to create the income that I like, or get the house that I like, or get the goals that I want for my life, the things and accoutrements and the luxuries that I want in my life? What do I need to get that? Who do I need to speak with? How many people do I need to go through? How many people do I need to date in order to find the person that I really want to spend my time with? So when you take accountability, account for those numbers. Accountability, you gain autonomy. When you take accountability over yourself, when you know what's going on with your life, when you set your expectations correctly, when you know where you are, and when you know what plan you need to make, what goals you need to set, and where you need to go in order for you to do that, you take account over that, you write it down, you set it up, you talk about it, you make financial goals as a couple. Then you gain autonomy. Autonomy is when you're autonomous, when you have complete control over your life. So you want control? You want control of your life? You want control of your future? Take responsibility over your authority. You have complete authority over your thinking, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your behaviors, your plans, your words, your fears. You have 100% control of them. People think you have no control over your fear. Guess what? You have 100% control of your fear, because you're only born with 3 fears. Fear of pain, fear of falling, fear of loud noises. Everything else is learned. And so all you got to do is unlearn those things. When you take accountability, you gain autonomy. Vice versa. When you become autonomous, you take accountability. Authority equals responsibility. Responsibility equals authority. If you want to learn more things like this and access to 300 plus videos, plus videos on interpersonal communication and interpersonal relationships and getting better at all those areas of your life, go to see a Great Relationships University ambassador or go to our website. I'll see you next time.